Hello everyone, Adam from the Gaming Cave here with a Good Morning Magic playthrough. Today's deck of choice is going to be a Dimir control deck. I didn't really waste any wild cards to build this, a couple, but I didn't really want to waste too many, so this is what we have. We're just going to play this through, very similar to the deck I've been playing in Standard, except we're going with black instead of white, because I really want to try out this card, the Meat Hook Massacre. I really want to see how good that can be in a control shell. And then we're just running, your run-of-the-mill removal spells. And then, of course, counter spells, some of my favorites. And that's pretty much it. Just a lot of removal and counter spells in the early game. Then we're going to try and draw cards with, that. Memory Deluge and Behold the Multiverse. And then Shadow's Verdict. And the Big Dragon. And then our Planeswalkers are take an extra turn spell. And then, as you can see, we're just not trying to spend a whole lot of wild cards on land. So we just went with what we had. So yeah, let's get into a game here. We'll play a standard ranked. I have all the audio turned off this time around to see if it sounds any better. I prefer audio when I play this. A lot of people do not, and when streaming or recording, a lot of people are not fans of the background, so I went without it this time, but I do personally prefer it. This is a rough hand. I'm going to keep it though, even without black mana, just because we're likely going to get to the Deluge, and we have Field of Ruin. So if we have to, we can almost cycle that in a way. We can sacrifice it, destroy their land, get us a swamp. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it. But we're really going to rely on that Deluge to really unlock our hand here. We're just going to pass, see if we can trip them up. Looks like, Hall of the Storm just tells you that you're likely playing another control deck. So yeah, we are going to play that tap, just again, because of the Deluge. I'd like to keep it. I really like using that as a counter spell early game, but in this particular matchup, I don't know that we would get optimal use out of it. There we go, another Field of Ruin. So we've certainly got that Hall of Storm Giant covered. If you're not familiar, if you control 2 or more other lands, Hall of Storm Giant enters the battlefield tapped. It taps for a blue, and then 6 mana it becomes a 7/7 blue giant creature with Ward 3. Ward 3 is literally hexproof unless you pay 3 extra to do whatever it is you want to do. So yeah, we're just going to pass here. Try and get this Memory Deluge off on the end step. Might run into a counter spell, but that's all right, because we've hit some mana drops. We're going to get to the late game. He's just going to do his. We're going to do ours. We very much want these 2 cards to continue pushing. We'll have another chance at this Jawari Disruption. And this Siphon Insight, this card is really good in the mirrors. That's one of the main reasons I came over here to black. We're okay with the egg. Just in case you're not familiar, this is what we got. So yeah, we'll play the Siphon here. And then we'll Field of Ruin the Hall, just to get it off the table now, so we're not in a pinch later on down the road. He's actually going to just kick that back. We're going to be fine with all of that. And we'll get that out of the way. We'll go ahead and shoot this down. We'll grab a swamp, so that our hand is completely unlocked. We'll play a swamp. We'll just shoot this thing to get it out of the way before it grows up. He's going to return it, and now we're going to get some pretty decent value here because we might be able to get our hand low enough to maybe keep him off getting good value out of that teachings. Now, it is going to cause us to tap out, but I think we're okay with that here. We'll foretell this, and we'll pass. So the card he went and got is this. But I have to have more cards than him. Yeah, we're okay with him just taking an extra turn here, getting a couple 1/1s. I don't think we're in fear of getting blown out or anything here. No, not at all. We're going to be able to untap, do the same thing defensively. So we'll do that. We'll play one of our own. And then I think it's a pretty safe bet that we can get away with the Meat Hut Massacre for 4 here. Maybe not. He's going to bounce that. We're good with that. Meat Hut Massacre. It's an legendary enchantment. When it enters the battlefield, each creature gets -X/-X until end of turn. Whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life. Whenever a creature an opponent controls dies, you gain a life. So that's what we just did there. He got a couple treasures previously from his dragon, but we've got his dragon covered with Disdainful Stroke. So if the dragon comes back down this turn, which it does, we may have a counter war. We will attempt to counter it, but he may counter back. He did not, which isn't surprising because the Massacre and our Time Walk spell both resolved. So, but here we go. He's back. He's got a second dragon. So we're going to take 4. We're going to go to 12. We're going to begin, and we just drew another Meat Hook Massacre. They are legendary, so unfortunately this one's going to go away. I mean, I guess it doesn't really matter which one goes away, but there we go. And now on the end step, we can play this. This is going to allow us to look at the top 2 cards of his library and take one of them, and then be able to play it for the rest of the game, and it has flashback. And it's an instant, so if he were to cast his draw cards, if I have more cards than him, we can kind of sneak it in there too and keep him from drawing. But we're not going to. We're just going to cast it and see if we get away with it here. He's only got 1 unknown card, so finding out that information, yeah, this is completely fine. This siphon also allows us to play it without any colors. So if we get like a red card out of his deck. I actually think the Divide by 0 is a good choice for us. We can just make him pick up his red card. Actually, we can, hold on, let's take a read. Alright, so yeah, it is probably something we're going to want him to pick up now. So we will go ahead and do that. We're going to decline that, and I think we're just going to slam Mordenkainen. And we'll make a dog, which is going to die, so that was quite silly. He makes a dog that's power and toughness double the amount of cards in your hand, but it shows that we have 2 cards. We don't actually have 2 cards. They're both in flashback. They just appear because they're cards we could use. So we paid 6 mana to literally make him kill it. So not great. Not a great situation for us there. So we're just going to pass here and deluge or insight or destroy his creature. Let's destroy target creature. I'll lose 2 life, but we'll need it here instead. Well, obviously we'll get him before he goes into combat. He'll get a treasure, but he'd have gotten a second treasure if I'd have let him attack, so. This still leaves us enough mana to cast the Mermanly Deluge. Well, it doesn't now, because now we have to... He's going to return that. So this resolves. We'll resolve that. And we're going to pass 2 attackers. Nothing's going to happen there. So then on the end step here, we're going to look into either Siphon Insight or Memory Deluge, depending on if he does anything here, but it's probably just going to be Memory Deluge. He's going to try and deal 3 damage to flip that over. So I think we're going to let that resolve. And then Memory Deluge. We could get yet another Meat Hook Massacre. A dragon. There's a lot of good options here, actually. Take a look at what he's got. He's got the dragon. He can draw some cards. He's going to be able to make some more guys. So I definitely think we get the Meat Hook Massacre. And honestly, I think we're going to need another piece of removal. We need the Meat Hook Massacre to combat the Mascot Exhibition that he has over here. And then I think we need the 1-for-1 for that. And then we also have to deal with the guy on the board. So let's see what we can do here. We'll play out the land. Let's see if there's any lands to worry about. There isn't. So we will send this over to the Foretell zone now, because if we cast it from Foretell, we get to scry 2, which could be very important. Now, we're not going to catch the Meat Hook Massacre here. We are going to just pass here, I guess. But he doesn't have any instance or sorcerer. He doesn't have any instance. So he's going to cast that. We're going to respond with the Siphon Insight. But now the Meat Hook Massacre becomes quite good. I think we're going to take the Thundering Rebuke. It's just 4 damage at sorcery speed. We're going to take 2. He's going to resolve that. We're going to take a healthy amount of damage here this turn, but the Meat Hook Massacre is going to wipe up all of this and gain us a fair amount of life, so we're not actually in terrible shape here. So we'll go Meat Hook Massacre for 4. Auto pay, keep the new one. We just gained 4. Then we pass, and we still have the ability to kill the dragon when that comes down. And we still have a way to deal with his man land. We're going to let that resolve. We're going to go ahead and kill the dragon. He's going to get a treasure, but now he has a card. I think We'll do it like that. We'll keep the kill spell on top. He has a card in his hand that is completely dead. Unfortunately for us, he's going to get some value out of it now because we have a card in our hand. Maybe I shouldn't have put that there. So yeah, we're just going to pass. We don't have a lot going on either. Yeah, we got nothing. He's going to get the 2 cards here. He's going to foretell one of them. We will go ahead and machine down his hull. We will grab a swamp. And the 4th Meat Hook Massacre. So yeah, we're drawing plenty of removal. Yep, it's not a surprise. We saw the card get foretold last time. And a memory deluge. So yeah, he's drawing quite well compared to us. Yeah, he did really well off of that. Again, we are likely to have to Meat Hook Massacre just to get all this off the table. We're going to let that resolve. Did I just pass through my turn? No? Oh, that's right. He took the extra turn. Yeah, we're going to let all this resolve. Maybe we'll even get lucky enough he'll commit something else to the table. Nope. Nothing else. Doesn't look like anything else. A memory deluge of our own would be quite good here. But he might just have 2 spells. We might just actually be dead. So here we go. We're going to, again, do this for 4. And if he has 2 spells, then we just die or that. Yep. All right, that's the game, guys. Thanks for stopping by and checking out the video. And we'll catch you on the next one.